Hello, it's 7 p.m. Arizona time on the fourth Wednesday of September, September 22nd, 2021. My name is Jay Carpenter. I am founder of Desert Blockchain and Desert Blockchain Camps. And tonight we're going to be talking about the potential for community collaboration surrounding the Arizona Blockchain and Wearables Applied Research Center funding opportunity. And tonight's going to be basically a summary of what has happened over the last couple of months and what's about to happen with this program, which totals at this point, I believe, $5.5 million in matching funds. And we're going to kind of open it up to anyone that's watching or might be watching this recording to express your interest in being part of a team to work on a 2-year research and collaboration project surrounding either blockchain or wearables. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the criteria of the program and so forth. So if you're not familiar with Desert Blockchain, we are a community in Arizona and actually beyond. We also are connected with the decentralized web community, and you can find out more about that at the getdweb.net website. And we are completely funded by Patreon contributions from the community. And you can sign up to be a Desert Blockchain citizen and get extra benefits like advanced viewing of the presentations for sessions. You can participate in these Zoom sessions live and so forth. And we also have Saturday events at Desert Blockchain Camp, which you see a rendering behind me. We're actually in a slightly different building now, but we're going to be building out more projects at camp live as we move forward in reconnecting in person. So that's what the agenda is for tonight. And I'll be going through a presentation to show you what has happened so far. And if you have any questions, you're watching on the live stream, please feel free to post those questions on the right side in the live stream chat. So let's go ahead and get started in the presentation. And we'll start at the beginning. So this is the presentation that we've been using to sort of collect information surrounding this program and this opportunity. This is being managed by the Arizona Commerce Authority, and it was granted basically in the most recent legislation from the state of Arizona. In July, I believe the legislation session ended and the legislation became law, basically. And this is the second go round. In 2019, the first set of funds like this were made available to the community. And in that case, it was, for blockchain at least, it was 1.25 million in matching funds. And there are some, it's my understanding, there are some projects that are underway that are researching blockchain and so forth. And I believe those projects will be due in September of next year. So there is still $500,000 available now that's left over from the 2019 program. And that's what the 0.5 million represents. But we went into depth on the particulars of the program, and including that $500,000 that's left over from 2019 back in our session on July 28th, which we'll have a reference to in this presentation. So let's take a look. This is our session tonight, and we're scheduled to go from 7 to 8 p.m. And what we've been having is every Saturday, we've been having what we call an ARC open house, and it's been from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and we've recorded those sessions. The first hour is basically like a workshop on either, topics like non-fungible tokens or decentralized autonomous organizations or Stellar or various topics. But in our last session on the 18th, last Saturday, we talked about some of the particulars of non-fungible token markets and some of the things to watch out for, how the markets operate. We took a look at some dashboards regarding those markets. And we also talked about how non-fungible tokens could be applied to the real estate industry. So what you're seeing on the left is basically our meetup session, which has some information below the meetup session. And then on the right is the recording of the session. And there's an hour-long period where there's basically nothing. I'll eventually edit that out. But during that hour-long period from 12 noon to 1 p.m., we do meet in person and we have pizza. And that's kind of our informal collaborative time to chat about things, get to know one another, network. And then from 1 to 2 p.m., we've been having conversations and introductions of some of the folks you're going to see in this presentation about what's available through the Arizona Blockchain and Wearables Applied Research Center's program. So, which, by the way, I'll mention this a couple times just so people get it, but the application period for the new money, the $5 million, half of which is for Wearables, half of which is for blockchain, does not actually open until, I believe, the 25th of September. And there'll be an application window where you can apply anytime between September 25th to October 31st, and all applications received by the Arizona Commerce Authority will be considered submitted at the same time, basically. And if there's funds left over after that period, then the application period will extend on a first come, first served basis. So here's the prior session a week on September 11th. We had a good turnout, and this is William in the picture with me, who's I believe a computer science student at Arizona State University, and he has created, along with some other folks, an interesting real estate application that shows how realtors could go from project to project in a minimal amount of time. But he is interested in certainly the ARC program, and William has some technical capabilities to add to a team. And by the way, some of the folks have posted their profiles in this presentation, some have not. If you're interested in connecting with some of the folks that you hear about tonight, or you're interested in basically kind of raising your hand saying, hey, Jay, I saw the session on the 22nd, I'm interested, I didn't know about it before, you can contact me and I will facilitate connecting you with other folks. And we also will continue to have these Saturday sessions from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Desert Blockchain Camp, which is near the Grand Canyon University campus. And you can find out more about the locations and so forth. Your best source of information, by the way, is to follow us on Twitter at Desert Block Hack. We had to cut off the name of the brand, unfortunately, and also to sign up and become a member on Meetup, because we send out actually quite a bit of information, and that's the best way to follow us. So we also had a session on the 4th of September. And again, you can see the video of that in our YouTube channel, and you can see additional details, who signed up and so forth, on our meetups page for the 4th of September. So, and here we were talking about how to create your own NFT tokens and so forth on the Stellar network, which was quite interesting. And then this was our first open house on August the 28th. And we actually, in the second part from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., we had some of the folks that you'll see their profiles later in this presentation. They actually did like a little video introduction of themselves and what their expertise is, what their interest is, and it's an opportunity to kind of see them on video explaining who they are and what they'd like to work on. So check that out. This is a summary of our session where we had three team members of the Arizona Commerce Authority speak to us and detail not only the ARC program, but also other startup and innovation and entrepreneurial programs that are available through the Arizona Commerce Authority, which can include funding opportunities as well for the startups. So you can see that video in the YouTube session, but here's just a snapshot of basically the fundamentals of the two programs from 2019 and 2021, and with a kind of a highlight of the 500,000 that is possibly still remaining available for applications. And Stephanie Faltermeyer from the Arizona Commerce Authority did the most of the presentation for the ARC program. Randy Gustafson did a presentation for other programs and opportunities offered through the Arizona Commerce Authority. And Nathan Prince, who's the general counsel for the Arizona Commerce Authority, also was present and made some comments about some of the particulars on the programs. So you can take a look at that. And by the way, this presentation will be available through Patreon. It'll be opened up to the public tomorrow morning, and you'll be free to refer to this presentation. And you should keep an eye on the presentation because there's quite likely additional information that will be added to it over time, other folks that are interested in participating. So let's talk about a few of the folks that have kind of raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in participating on a team for the ARC funding, to be on a team that applies for the funding. One is Shane Sandler, who is what we call a camp counselor at Desert Blockchain Camp. He has set up a really cool target range where you can remotely from anywhere in the world via Telegram basically shoot tennis balls through an air cannon, and you can also operate a water gun or water cannon, and he's going to be developing that out. Shane is a mechanical engineer by training, undergraduate at Arizona State University. He has an MBA from Arizona State University. He has a wealth of experience in the setup of staging for concerts and things like that. And he, through Desert Blockchain and Desert Blockchain Camp, Shane actually learned how to use small board computers called Raspberry Pis and how to operate those through something called Node-RED, which is a really cool platform for the Internet of Things. And I'm really impressed with what Shane has created with this target range. He calls it CryptoCannoneer, and the amount of mastery he has developed for himself with the Internet of Things, with small board computers, and with Node-RED. Now, he is also a big fan of and very knowledgeable about the Stellar network, which is one of the top cryptocurrency platforms out of the top 100. And it's designed for remittances. It's designed to quickly and cheaply send money around the world to loved ones and so forth. And he's tying in the Stellar network to this target range. And it will be like this interactive game that's can be played either in person or virtually. And he has applied to the Stellar network community for some competitions. He's actually won a competition with this target range, and he'll be hearing shortly about the next rounds, which will be about 10 times more than what he originally was awarded. But Shane is actually at a very cool event called Wasteland Weekend, which is kind of like Mad Max in the desert. And Shane is open to ideas, open to proposals. He's got a lot of valuable skills for a team. And, if you're interested, by all means, contact Shane and watch some of his videos, because he does a great job explaining things and showing the CryptoCannoneer, which is very, very cool in my opinion. Next is Eric Schedler, and Eric is a entrepreneur, and he's also been an executive of a very prominent corporation that did very well, and he's in electronics and video and so forth, but he's interested in creating teams or getting involved with teams that have something to do with property and real estate. And Eric did a presentation on August the 25th when we did our real estate and blockchain session. And you can see the recording of that and the presentation of that on our YouTube channel. But he's also studied quite a bit in the realm of crowdfunding, tokenization, syndication. He has an investment background, and he's quite knowledgeable. He's also been a judge on some of the startup weekend pitches and things like that. So, if you're interested, be sure to contact Eric, and I'm sure he'll be dropping in on our weekend sessions as well. But that's just kind of a sketch of what Eric is interested in. Then we have Ranga Krishnan, who's actually in the Bay Area, but we met Ranga through the Fabri real estate network, which is a global consortium of folks interested in blockchain and real estate. And there's some really cool projects and ideas and initiatives and global community that Ranga is tapped into. He is a real estate broker, as well as he's an engineer. Has experience with blockchain and supply chain. I believe he has a degree from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And it's been great through this process to meet Ranga and speak with him, get to know him. And he is out of the country at this particular time, and it's like the middle of the night where he is right now. So he couldn't join us tonight. So, and he spoke during the August 25th session and talked about his project that he's interested in, which is unique object identifiers, which, by the way, is designed to have a strong sustainability and carbon reduction element to it, if you're interested in that. So Ranga's a great resource, and I would recommend you connect with him if you're interested in this particular area. The next is Shaw, that's kind of her nickname, and she's been attending the Saturday sessions as well. It's been a delight to meet her, and she has a very impressive background, has a PhD in geophysics, I think an undergraduate degree in physics, and experience with large scale data modeling, blockchain and sustainability, the Internet of Things. And she is also open to proposals to get involved with teams and so forth. And she is here in Phoenix and regularly attends the Desert Blockchain events. And it's been great to get to know her through this process. And I consider her to be a very strong resource for any teams that that form. So the next is Jose Tafla, and Jose also is well versed in blockchain, but he has many years of computer applications experience. He's also a project manager and has a very impressive background and set of experience in technology, hands-on applied technology, very interested in blockchain, has some experience with small board computers and decentralized computing, software engineering, and he's open to proposals. And you know, I've worked with Jose for about a year and a half now, 2 years maybe, and he is definitely a strong resource for any particular team. So the rest of the presentation is just some material that might be of interest to you as you're forming these teams and so forth. And there's some of this is basically talking about what's available in the capital markets through blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and tokenized real estate. As you can see here, this is Dr. Philip Sandler of the Frankfurt School in Germany, and he is a well-written, renowned author. There's an article here from Forbes talking about some of the possibilities that are available to us now through this tokenization on the horizon of decentralization and blockchain and digitized assets and so forth. And anyway, this is just a good article that kind of captures some of the realms that might be of interest to some of the teams. This is a quick summary of Fabri, which again is a global real estate consortium. And although the ARC program, the Applied Research Centers, is very specific about the money that's the matching funds staying in Arizona, you know, it is possible to, if they're not compensated directly or you know, through via the matching funds, it is possible to form some alliances with some of this the global community that's interested in applying blockchain technology to real estate. And again, on the 25th of August, we had a presentation from I think it's Solid Block, and they did a tokenized real estate investment of the St. Regis Hotel in Aspen, Colorado, and you know, so we do have some connections with folks around the world that might serve as maybe a sounding board or, you know, resource for how is this done, what are some of the particulars, what are some of the pitfalls, what are some of the things you have to watch out for. And by the way, the ARC program is not necessarily about real estate. It could be about voting. It could be about DeFi. It could be about medical records, legal records, all sorts of topics are available through the application process for the ARC funding. So we kind of focused on real estate because we had a session about that in August after our session in July with the Arizona Commerce Authority setting up the ARC program. And we also thought that, hey, a lot of people in Arizona favor real estate as an investment. So what if we created a project that was real estate centric, where that topic could be studied for 2 years, and along with some funding from this ARC program. So one thing, by the way, to mention is that the cap from the ARC funding per project, as I understand it, and I'm not the expert, don't consider everything that I'm saying as you've got to check it out and verify it yourself, but the cap is $250,000 of ARC funding per project. It is my understanding that a team could conceivably take on more than one project for the period, but that's something you'd have to check and verify with the Arizona Commerce Authority. So this report is pretty impressive report, came out on June 24th, and it covers some really interesting opportunity sets applying this digitization, tokenization, decentralization of various elements associated with real estate. So take a look at that. And then we've talked about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which is a new way to hold property rights in various assets. And, you know, it's exploded like crazy in the last like 3-4 months. It's amazing what has happened with non-fungible tokens for digital arts and so forth. But this particular article highlights how non-fungible tokens could be applied to real estate. So I think it'd be an interesting project to launch under the ARC funding to study. And when I say study, I really mean it's like you're studying in order to create a project that could be commercialized at the end of the program. This is not really pure research, but it would be an interesting topic for a team to form and look at what could be done with non-fungible tokens related to real estate, and how might that be commercially viable? How might you use this initial funding to sort of like start a commercial endeavor that could capitalize on what's happening here in the decentralized realm. So, check that out, keep that in mind, and also keep it in mind that, although it's called research, it's really about creating innovation that can be applied in the real marketplaces here in Arizona and perhaps beyond, using decentralized constructs like NFTs, blockchain, decentralized storage, things like that. I would like to mention, while we're on this slide and we're talking about real estate and so forth, that there is something called a prop tech sandbox that's been created by the state of Arizona. And Eric Schedler, by the way, is interested in that and knowledgeable about the prop tech sandbox. But there are these, our policymakers, by the way, in Arizona have a vision for Arizona to be at the forefront of this decentralized realm, which we poorly call blockchain. And they've created these things called sandboxes, which are a way to apply to get into a sandbox when you're starting some sort of project or startup, where you can get the thing started in compliance with the regulatory realm without necessarily having to go through some of the onerous regulatory requirements, such as becoming a money transfer licensee, or money transmission licensee, which is a pretty expensive process in my understanding. But for things like, where you could start your project in a sanctioned way, with some regulatory supervision that allows you to get things off the ground and have some peace of mind that you're operating your startup to prove the concept without being subject to certain regulatory requirements and so forth. Believing it, you still operate with consumer safeguards in mind and so forth. It's just that you get kind of a breathing space where you don't have to be fully licensed, which is a long and expensive process. So keep that in mind. There's also a fintech sandbox, and I think there might be some other sandboxes that are available in Arizona. So the rest of the presentation is sort of placeholders for pro forma budgets for projects, spreadsheets, adding GitHub pages, creating Slack or Element channels for communications, and potential areas of research, create a timeline, comments. And then here's various industry, and this is, again, is kind of real estate centric, but not totally. But within the real estate realm, you could look at lending, brokerage, IoT, investment, title, insurance, rentals. Eric Schedler is interested in, apparently there are new developments that are subdivisions, but they're designed to be basically like Airbnb subdivisions, rentals and so forth. There might be opportunities to explore services, repairs, that sort of thing. Public administration, it would be great to see some teams form around public administration, because like the Arizona Corporation Commission has announced that they are interested in moving some of their corporation commission platform and functions onto a distributed ledger or blockchain construct. So I don't know where they're at with that, but certainly public administration is an area that's ripe for exploration. And you could look at countries like Estonia, where they've migrated quite a bit of their public administration onto the blockchain, and there are models out there to kind of like follow. Nonprofits, certainly some opportunities there, and it is encouraged through the ARC program that there's a collection of entities per team. So it's not just one company or a couple companies. It's probably a couple companies, an academic institution, maybe a nonprofit, maybe a healthcare entity coming together to take down some of these matching funds and work on a project jointly over a 2-year period, with a end product or work product being something that is commercially viable. That is the intention. And so I kind of threw in religious organizations. Who knows? I've read about churches that have started taking donations in cryptocurrencies, and I'm sure they've done very well in that regard. And then certainly sports and recreation could be areas to explore as well, especially with the NFTs, where the sports sector has just exploded around non-fungible tokens. So anyway, that's just kind of some brainstorming ideas. And then that's pretty much the end of it. This is the format for our open houses, 11 to 12. We have some sort of workshop, 12 to noon, or 12 to 1, we have a lunch break. And then from 1 to about 2, we have just kind of an open conversation. And we'll continue to be having these. So I am going to stop my screen share at this point. And basically anybody there on the live stream, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. And, hopefully this is of interest. We will be having an open house this Saturday, and that will, I believe that's the 25th of September. And it will be the same format, 11 to 1, or excuse me, 11 to noon. Yeah, I will be doing a session, and I think I'm going to be doing Blockchain 101, going through some visuals and some websites where you can actually play with a blockchain and put information in and see how it's handled on a blockchain. And then from noon to 1, we will have pizza at our Desert Blockchain Camp, and that'll be informal socializing, networking, and so forth. And then from 1 o'clock to whenever we end, we'll kind of open up the session for general community comments and so forth. So the other thing to announce is that we will be having our October session, which will be October 27th, the fourth Wednesday of October, again from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We'll be having our annual Halloween session. And why Halloween? Well, the reason is because Halloween, October 31st, marks the anniversary each year of the publication of the Bitcoin white paper by Satoshi Nakamoto. So this October, it will be the 13th birthday or anniversary of the Bitcoin white paper. And we'll just basically do a kind of a survey of, where has this space, where did it start? What were some of the pivotal milestones? Where is it now? And where might it be headed in the future? And what is the potential here? So, those meetups will be forthcoming in terms of the actual meetup sessions you can sign up for. You can look for those tomorrow, Thursday, or probably at the latest Friday, along with our bi-weekly update, which will be published. And again, keep an eye on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, because that's pretty much where we put all of our information. We also post a lot on LinkedIn, but Twitter has a nice, summary of all the things that we've presented and the key elements, along with some other things like DWeb and so forth. So sign up for that, or follow us on Twitter. Sign up for the meetup, which is free. If you're interested in becoming a Desert Blockchain citizen and getting additional benefits, that's $10 a month through Patreon. And we have links in the notes below this recording and on the meetup page as well. So I don't see any comments in the chat session. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up early. Thank you for your time, attention. And again, we're just starting the application process for the Applied Research Center's funding. One thing that has bubbled up for me out of this is an idea for a project that both covers blockchain as well as wearables, and is something that's designed to remove carbon. So we'll see where that goes, but that's been one of the benefits that I've gotten out of this process. So I really appreciate the support that the Arizona Commerce Authority has given to this initiative to kind of surface interest in this realm. And, I look forward to working with others in the Arizona and beyond communities to bring resources together, talent, folks, funding, projects, ideas, and so forth. So that's it for this evening. Thank you very much for your time and attention. And please feel free to contact me, jcarpenter@desertblockchain.com. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you